Well, hello everybody, and welcome to Somebody Had to Say It with Michael Macnack and Victoria Cure. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi, Victoria.
Hi.
Victoria,
Can't
here's the
wait. This
problem.
is so exciting.
What?
I can't wait for this. This is so exciting.
Oh, you just want to see me blow my stack. Here's the problem, everybody. We all have opinions,
Some are wrong.
but most of Victoria's are wrong.
No.
But you see, but nobody has the guts to say things out loud anymore. We're told we have to be authentic as long as our authenticity doesn't offend anybody, right? We have that's that don't go down. We're told we got to speak the truth as long as it sounds nice, as long as it's fluffy. We're told to be ourselves as long as that self fits into whatever 30-second video caption has video music and like a dance scene in it, right? And it's exhausting. Somewhere along the way, common sense packed its bags and not so quietly left the building. So that's what we want to talk about in this podcast because Victoria and I've been together long enough that we decided that our, as she calls it, playful banter is worthy of being shared. That people need to hear what we talk about behind the scenes, I guess. It's
So
kind of
many people message me and they're like, is this your mic? And I'm like, no, this is the other side of my sandwich. This is the bun. This is the ass of the sandwich if my mic's squared.
I have to be the ass of the
You have
sandwich.
to be the ass. And so, people say, are y'all related? Y'all just banter like y'all known each other your whole life. And I'm like, he's the little shit on the playground that you're just like, oh, and but at the end of the day, in all seriousness, I consider us good friends. Like, he had a back injury and I was checking on him every day, like the annoying little sister that was annoying the shit out of him because of it. And I just had massive back surgery and, he was making fun of me every time he opened his trap. So, I mean, it's just how we work.
Yeah,
And
it's a one-way street and it's my
it's
way.
always his.
Yeah. Well, so that's what we want to do. We want to talk about things that we want to talk about. And sometimes we're going to agree, sometimes we're not going to agree, and that's when it's really kind of fun. Sometimes I may pick a alternative argument to go against Victoria just because that's fun. Sometimes you'll be sitting there listening to us and you'll be screaming at the radio because you agree with us, or you'll be screaming at the radio because Victoria says something that you completely disagree with, and you really hate it. Either way, that's good. We want to get conversations going, conversations happening. We can't just keep pretending everything's fine because it's just not. And we've gotten to the point where we're afraid to have controversial conversations or even just regular debates, friendly, healthy debates. So if nobody out there is going to do it,
We will.
we decided that we will. So here is Somebody Has to Say It, and we are welcoming you to our conversation, episode one, the rollout. And unfortunately, I think that this is going to not set the perfect tone because I think you and I are actually going to agree on this, what I'm about to say.
It'll be very short.
No, I doubt that. Not if you get fired up. And I know it's something that'll get you fired up. So listen, have any of you out there in La La Land gotten to the point where you are just done, pissed off with this electronic medical records keeping myth that we've been sold? Huh, Victoria's hand is up. Okay, so let's backtrack. We were told that EMDR, not EMDR, and
It needs
electronic medical
attorney.
records, EMR, is going to be the wave of the future. That if we fill out these forms and these applications, when we go to the doctor's office, they're going to be able to punch everything into their computer, and every doctor is going to be able to see the information and share the information. Am I
Bullshit.
right?
Yeah.
Right, bullshit. Well, that's what it's because that's what it is. I mean, it's to the point where we had to redo an entire federal act known as the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, right? i.e. HIPAA. They have to keep changing that to keep up with the changing times of IT, uh, because the HIPAA laws are so important and our privacy is so important to us, we had to change this massive federal law to make a whole new section about electronic medical records. Yeah, I've been to the doctor in the hospital 5 times in the last month because of my back injury, and I have to go again today. And last night, as luck would have it, Victoria, I was thinking of you. I had to fill out yet another online survey, pre-fill. Okay. So when you get to the doctor, one of the things I think that they didn't consider that we were going to break off these doctors into all these groups. You know, you've got this group of physicians, that group of physicians.
The ologists.
Right, but within the ologists, you have 16 different, like out here, you know, you could have Yale, you could have Harvard, you could have Brown, you could have Griffin, you could have all these different medical groups who now they share the information, but they're not going to share with Yale and
Right,
they're not going to share with Harvard.
right.
And it's like, so keeping track of that is hard enough,
Well,
which
they don't all do that. Like Emory down here, which is one of the most sought after medical universities in the country, has a hospital and it's one of the best in the country, supposedly. But
that's another thing I want to talk about.
that's bullshit because every time you go in there, they want you to fill out the same freaking form. Now on the form, it says, what gender do you want to identify as? I'm going in for surgery. I don't give a shit what you identify me as.
Right. As
Do
long
you
as I got all my bits when I come out.
or don't have them? Or and then you say on them, hey, also they want to know, do we need to offer you certain amenities that align with your identity? I'm going in for surgery for crying out loud. I don't care if I have whatever. I just need the surgery.
Well,
I
you
don't
didn't
need
even,
the
you never
dress.
even told me about this one. And yeah,
I save things
that's
for you.
just above and beyond PC. I swear to God. I mean,
Right.
I am all about being politically correct and honoring people's
It's wit.
wishes. You know I am. I mean, I'm a hell of a lot more politically correct than you are. Look at her face. Yeah, that's the other thing. Like everybody's hospital is the most sought after in the country. Oh my God, you go to
Make
the
it have
Cleveland
all.
Clinic. Oh my God, you go to the Boston Medical. You go to, come on. I mean, it's like Seinfeld said, some of these doctors had to finish last in their class, right? So
But they got,
anyway,
my daughter Faith asks them, did you get your medical degree at Walmart?
right, I know you told me that one. So anyway, the point being with all this that with all the stuff that we were told, everything that we were sold, why is it that in 2 ER visits and now one, two, three, four, five, 6 doctor visits, I have to fill out these forms that basically ask the same questions, the same things over and over and over again about not only my general health and everything, but also about this particular back injury that I have. It has made me go from grumpy because I'm in pain, grumpy because I'm grumpy, grumpy because I'm in pain, and to even more like apoplectic. I'm just like handing these things back to these folks with just scribbles and hoping that they can't read my handwriting.
Right.
It, it's just so I don't get it. And if there's anybody out there that has an answer, please email us. I don't know if Victoria's going to set it up so you can communicate with us in terms of these episodes or what, but my God, the other day I went to a spine doctor. I finally got in to see the spine doctor after 6 weeks of being in pain. And they had me fill out and it was another member of Brown Health. I had to fill out a 12-page thing when I got there. The first thing that the receptionist hands me is a medical update saying, "Oh, can you check out this med list and see tell me which ones you're on and which ones you're not on?" So I crossed off what I wasn't on and I handed it back to her. Great. I sit down to fill out my 12-page life bio, and within that life bio, they're asking me the same questions again.
Yeah.
I refused. I just would not answer those
That's
questions.
great for your spine to be like looking down.
Yeah, right.
That's how they keep all their patients.
Oh, and then I didn't tell you this one, or maybe I did. I got into the doctor's office and they were asking me if I brought them the
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 films and stuff
the diagnostics, the imaging.
that was done at that facility or
What's that?
that was done there or in their
Yeah,
facility. They
yeah.
have it in their records. See,
That's what
this
I
is
said.
why I am an advocate for special needs and an advocate for medical. And I've probably done 500 cases where I go in and advocate for families because people don't understand what they're allowed to have, what they are supposed to have, and people are just, ignorant to the fact because they don't know, and they keep handing them this, and they keep handing them this, and it's like I go in, I'm like, hand me the toilet paper. That's what I'll say because it's just shit. Hand it to me again and again. Here's the perfect one for you. So everybody knows, or most people do, I just had spinal surgery. That's why I look like the creep keeper, but that's fine. And
It's
so
like, what?
I look like the creep keeper.
You know,
Thank you. That's a compliment, and I'm recording it and keeping that sound bite. So he,
you look
I,
like Tales from the Crypt. Is that
so
the keeper?
okay, Mr. Clean. So then we go in. I go in for surgery, and as we know, I don't do any pain meds ever. And I'm getting in there, and they do what's called a timeout, where they come in there and they say, "Here's Victoria Cure, and here's her allergies, and here's what she's here for today." And then they say, "What surgery are you here for today?" "I'm here to have my spine removed." So I go in and then they offer you Versed. I decline. They take you into the OR. I'm fully coherent. And then they do a timeout again. In this timeout, they say, here's her name. Here's what time we're starting. Surgery's projected to last 6 hours, 7 hours, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I want to hear you tell me my allergies because I have severe allergies. So I'm waiting and waiting. They do it. They put me under. When I wake up, I'm in hell. And they're like, oh, your blood pressure's dropped 55 to 30, and they give me dextrose 5, which will increase your glucose. So then they're doing labs and they're like, oh my God, your blood sugar's through the roof. You just pushed dextrose 5. I'm like, I can't move. Something's really, really wrong. And they're like, oh, you're being admitted. No, I wasn't admitted after my amputation. I'm not being admitted for this. And they're like mentioning the word quadriplegic. So I'm like, okay, I'm being admitted. So I go up onto the surgical floor and I'm like, something is wrong with, I'm telling you, they haven't moved me. You're supposed to turn a patient every 2 hours to prevent bed sores. No, they don't do it. They come in and they're drawing blood. They don't take the blood from the IVs. They're sticking me every hour on the hour. And I'm like, something is so wrong with my body. I feel it. So they give me a morphine pain pump. I said, I don't know why you're attaching it. I'm not going to touch the button. So then the ongoing thing was, why won't you click the button for pain? I don't care how much pain I'm in. I'm not doing it. I don't want it. So I don't take it. Well, then I'm like, something is wrong. Something is wrong. The nurse comes in, first of all, covered in perfume. Like she just went to the counter and tried on everything that was there. And that's disgusting when you're already feeling nauseous. And she was like, aren't you allergic to chlorhexidine and iodine? And I said, yes. And she goes, they put that all over your back. Oh,
Oh,
great, thanks. And I was like, but they said it in surgery before they did it in the timeout. She's like, yeah. So she's really nice. She's like, look at your MyChart and read the notes. In the notes, it says, I'm aware the patient has allergy to chlorhexidine and iodine, but I cleaned the field, aka my back, with chlorhexidine and iodine.
why?
That's what they chose to use. Then it goes on, and this is a surgeon people come from all over the world to see, supposedly, who you can't get into for like 6 months. And it says, I was in there. I didn't tell you this part yet. I was physically in there for the critical part of the surgery and made myself available on the hospital grounds for the remainder of the surgery. Then please tell me who the hell did the rest of my surgery?
Mm.
And it doesn't say. So who did my surgery? Who did the
They
rest of
got
my
to
surgery?
find that out during the lawsuit, I suppose.
Hey, maybe I can find a good lawyer.
I don't know any.
I know. So
Yeah.
they're telling me in this lawsuit, I mean in this lawsuit, they're telling me in the MyChart that he wasn't even in there for the rest of it. And so
Yeah, I'd never seen
even
that.
if you're a resident, I will send you my MyChart. Even if you're if you're residents, you still have to be supervised. So I
Mm.
call them and I'm like, I'm having a reaction. You know what they say? We'll see you in your pre-op in 3 weeks. And you don't see the doctor, you see a nurse practitioner. You don't even see him again.
Well, and that's the night that you went to the ER.
Right. But I still haven't had my first post-op. My first post-op's still not for another 10 days.
Yeah, that's well,
Stupid.
I don't know. I don't know anything about the inner workings of the surgeries and when they're supposed to flip patients and all that stuff. But I don't understand why, the first night that I went to the emergency room with my back, it's all I could do. I was sweating. I was dizzy. It's, all I could do to keep from not fainting. And they had me fill out these forms. I'm just like, what is the point of this? And who's the poor lady that has to enter this every single time? And is that just to have somebody have a job? It makes me crazy. And another thing I would tell people on these forms, don't give them your social security number. They have no need to have your social security number.
Nope.
And that's, and if they tell you that's how they do their
Patient ID.
files and things like that, like back in the old days, it just,
It's not. It's they have a patient identification number, and that's what they say they need it. They don't. You're right.
you don't. And to me, it's like that. I mean, you're really running a HIPAA violation risk there. And I don't throw HIPAA around like I'm talking about HIPAA. I'm not talking about privacy. I'm
Right.
talking about the real HIPAA. And we can get into that another time. But I don't know what else to say about it other than what I said, that it just makes me absolutely crazy. I don't understand why they keep doing it. And then, as I said, I can't keep track in my mind which of my doctors is with which group. So now I've started just saving them under like, so if I have my doctor down here, Dr. Sarah, if I go to Dr. Sarah, I just kept her in a whatchamacallit, the bookmarked so that I can get to her my chart quick. So I can just go in there and write a note. In fact, I got to write them a note today. But I don't know what else to say about it. Maybe this angst, this egregious bit of mine is not as egregious as I thought, but I know that you have strong feelings about everything medical and you love to speak in terms of absolute. So everybody does this all the time, every time. Nobody does. So I know this will set you off and things. And I knew that you had this issue with your back and that allergy. And the other thing is that you've talked about a million times is it's in the chart. We
Yeah.
talked about it. It's written up there on the wall, and you're still coming in and asking me these stupid questions.
Right. You're gonna make me like Inspector Gadget. I'm gonna spring out my new hardware. It's just gonna like, because I mean, and I told him, I said, I want to be the bloke in 110 years who's sitting in the corner watching somebody do an autopsy on me. Can you imagine? They're gonna be like, somebody
No.
is pranking me because who the hell has this much metal in their body?
How about when they do an archaeological dig and they find your body? What the hell is this?
There's all this metal. There's not a
Yeah,
piece of metal. I mean, like you look at a skeleton or Mr. Bones, if you will, and there's like metal in every part of me. Like,
yeah.
seriously, it's
That explains a lot too, though, really. I mean,
that I should be getting like free HBO or something by now.
yeah, you're like an antenna.
I am like it's literally. I feel like I'm one of those like devices where you have to plug everything in. Like I have to plug in my prosthetic arm if I were it, which I don't. I have to plug in my hearing aids. I have to plug in my back. My back comes with a freaking remote control. Like, are you serious? I told my husband, I was like, I have a remote control for my back. Are you serious right now? And he was like, Does it get turned on? And I'm like,
I was well, and that's where my mind was going too. Maybe they'll give you a remote control for a little hoochie coochie.
Yeah. That's funny. I don't care who you are.
So I don't even know if I want to open this Pandora's
Oh, come
box with
on.
you. Why won't you take pain pills? What's the matter with you?
I've never taken a pain medication in my entire life. I've never had alcohol. I'm that 80s song, you don't drink, you don't smoke, what do you do? That boring,
Yeah,
goody two
that's
shoes.
that's Adam and Eve.
Adam Ant. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Goody,
Um,
goody, goody, good. Two shoes. Good. Yeah.
yes. Why don't
Yeah.
I take pain meds? I survived domestic violence and I've had over 100 surgeries, as we know. And all of the abuse transpired while I was pregnant. And when I would go get my stitches from being stabbed or my nose set when it was broken, I didn't want any of the pain meds affecting my daughter while, pregnant. And then afterwards, my daughter was born with special needs. She had a feeding tube, which gave her all the nutrition. It was literally life support because she couldn't take in anything orally. She had a tracheostomy, so she breathed through a tube in her neck. And she also was epileptic and had 20 grand mal seizures a day. And I had to be ready at all times as a single mom to take care of her. And so I never took any pain medication so that I would be ready to take care of her. I mean, she had 25 doctors and therapies a week, and I obviously couldn't drive under the influence, and I couldn't take care of her needs and her treatments and medications and things like that. So I never took any, and it's just been that way ever since.
Okay. Well, that is a very good explanation for then. What about now?
Well, 2.5 years ago, I didn't expect anything to happen. And we had had a family dinner and everything was great. And my daughter looked at me and said, I need to go to the emergency room. And I said, what? And we went to the emergency room and the surgeon came in and told me, you better call a priest and your husband in that order because she's not going to make it through the night. I'm like, what are you talking about? And literally she went into complete organ failure out of nowhere. And I had just had another surgery on my amputation. And it was like, I wouldn't have been able to drive. My husband was asleep. She said that. I thought she was having menstrual cramps at the time, and then she was just having an issue. And so that's why I was like, all right, let's go. This kid never says she has to go to the emergency room. So off we go. And next thing you know, I'm calling and waking up my husband saying, you need to get up here like right now. And so I just always on the ready, always on the alert, like a police officer,
So,
always ready.
so in your mind, yeah. So in your mind, it's one of these things that you always got to be ready and be on the alert for
Right,
the other shoe to drop or the shit to hit the fan, as it
right,
were.
right.
Okay, well, that's interesting. But the pushback is, and everybody's out there listening, yelling at their radio, and I've yelled at you about this before too.
I just turned the deaf ear, but go ahead.
You turn a deaf ear whenever I try to make sense out of your craziness.
Not always.
The pain meds aren't being given to you to drug you up, so to speak. They're given, well, yeah, they are. They're being given to you because they help your body to rest and that helps your body to recover and heal.
Yes and no, because you're putting a band-aid on something instead of a blueprint, like I always say, because you're temporarily removing the pain and the pain's going to come back unless you just work through it. And so, okay, here's the perfect example. After the surgery, the doctor says, what do you want? Dilaudid? Do you want morphine? Do you want oxy? What do you want? And says, I'll write you 50 pills. Are you freaking serious? How do you
You
expect
know
me
how
to
much money I can make off of that? I know a lot of guys that I grew up with that would make.
No, and I mean and I don't even I say save the script. I don't even want you to write it. I'm not even going to fill it. So don't even fill it. I mean, because that's how so many people become drug addicts based on injury. And
Well,
then
I disagree with your take on that entirely, and not the drug addicts, and I agree 1,000% that people do
get addicted to
a
pain
great
medication.
a great percentage of people become addicted to drugs because originally they had them as prescription pills. No
Hmm.
question about it. But I don't think that there's if you have a cut, right? I'm going to use your Band-Aid analogy, and you put a Band-Aid on that
Fix it up
cut.
and call it a day.
No, you're
Like a
putting
paper cut?
a cut on your arm, right?
Okay, so you nick it.
You're gonna put some hydrocortisone
Neosporin,
on there, Neosporin on there, and you're
which is
gonna
an
put a Band-Aid
antibiotic,
on it.
which
Yeah,
kills bacteria.
yeah.
Okay,
And then you're gonna put the Band-Aid on it,
okay,
and then later in the day you're gonna change that. And
sure.
the next day you may need it again, and the next day maybe again, and then eventually you take the Band-Aid
But
off.
that's not a chemical you're putting in your body to alter your state of mind and able to function. You can't even drive a vehicle or make any decision or choices based on the fact that you made a nick on yourself.
But it's apples and oranges, dude. It's not the same freaking
It is
thing.
too. Mix it together and have a freaking slushy. It is. It's the same.
Listen, I'm all for it. Bring it
I
on.
know. I know. But I mean, that's the thing. And then what happens if your
You should
kid?
see what I took this morning before I knew I had to come talk to you.
Wow. See, and I even send him. He calls me, tell me his back hurts. Right? Talk about being a good
Oh
friend.
my God. I guess what I did this morning.
There's no telling this side interrupt me as always. What?
Yeah, sorry to talk while you were interrupting. I was cutting a bagel this morning.
And you nicked yourself with a kitty knife.
No, I hurt my back.
You can't touch a knife.
I
Okay,
can't
so he
touch that.
hurts himself cutting cardboard,
I
right?
cut
And
it
still to this
cardboard.
day, I'm like, what?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
Oh, anyway, back to your point. Sorry.
yes, I went to see, I try to take care of him. I check on him every single day. I'm like, it's your annoying little friend asking how you're doing. I
I
sent him,
and that's where I would stop reading right there. It's your annoying little friend that say, "Yeah,
I'll
it
know
is."
that from
Bye.
now on. So then, we have both had people in our lives who have done us wrong and shady as hell. And we have proven to each other that that is not the case with each other. And so I find out he is so much pain besides to me that he can't be mobile. He can't go get anything for pain. He's hurting really bad. I feel bad for him. I go on Amazon and order him Motrin and all sorts of other stuff, like a little, you're
Care
on your
package.
period,
Yeah,
PMS, here's your Midol, shut up
yeah,
box. And I
yeah.
even send him crackers so
Yep.
that he can take it with the mitr or the Motrin so he can't say that he's got an upset stomach. And I send all of this to him. in a little goodie box and said, I've got something sent to you, so this will make you feel better, right? Like
Yeah.
this is somebody who's a true, authentic friend that
Are
thinks
you
of
tooting your horn again? I thought I heard the
no,
toot.
no,
We should
toot
get
toot.
sound effects. We should
No,
get sound effects on
no,
this shit.
I'm just saying no, because what I'm saying is here's why I'm saying this. Because after my surgery, I can tell you right now, I had probably 30 people write me and say, are you out of surgery yet? Because I really could have your help doing this. Not how did you do? How's your daughter? Not, do you need anything? Can I help you? Nothing. It was, hey, can you help me with this? I know
Ugh.
you had surgery today. Can you help me write this? Or can you tell me your thoughts on this? And that's why I was saying it before you really interrupted as usual. It's because I want people to see that people just don't, they're so self-centered and selfish that they don't care about people in their lives that are actually friends. They care about themselves. It's all self-centered when people are messaging you saying, hey, I know you just had your spine partially removed, but can you read this for me and tell me your thoughts? I mean, who actually cares enough anymore in these day and ages where everything is so electronically connected to actually care about somebody other than themselves?
You. You're the one.
You're
You
kind
are.
of. I mean,
You're the Martian.
you're the Martian.
Well,
I'm
no,
the
I
go-go
just kept
gadget.
saying like she would seriously, guys, like after her surgery, she'd be writing to me like, "How am I doing?" I was like, "How am I doing? Forget how I'm doing. I'm just a big baby over here. You're the one who just
Don't
had
show me the
to
pictures of your
yeah,
scars.
don't show me the pictures. I don't want to see. And you and no, I'm not going to you're not going to help me do anything. Go lay down and take a pain pill, god damn it, and let your body heal.
And
So
I'm working.
back to my point, the pain pills are not a band-aid. Yeah, they can be a band-aid, but sometimes a band-aid's a good thing. Band-aids help you heal.
Not if you're allergic to the adhesive. Mic drop.
That, what the hell's the adhesive got to do with,
Because
oh,
you're
you're talking about
allergic.
the band-aid?
Yeah, people who are allergic to the adhesive in a band-aid get a rash. So instead of just
Oh my God.
covering it up,
How
they
am
get
I
an
supposed to, how am I,
You
how the hell
can't.
am
Come
I
on,
supposed to,
lawyer me. Lawyer me.
I'm
Let's
not
know.
lawyering you. You're just completely coming out of left field with things that are complete, like objection. It's completely irrelevant.
No, because how can you put a band-aid on you if it doesn't have adhesive? So that's not irrelevant, counselor. How is that? How's it gonna stick? How
You
is
know,
shit gonna stick?
you know what they do? They would take a piece of gauze and they put it, oh my God, I can't, I'm not even going down
And
that
then
road.
there's no more allergic reaction because they've taken away the thing that causes the reaction, which is the adhesive. Instead, you wrap it with gauze and then put the tape around the top of the gauze so that
Yeah.
the tape doesn't touch the skin,
Yeah.
therefore no allergic reaction.
Right. But you're still, but then later on that day, you can remove it and you could
So
check
instead
them.
of taking something of a narcotic balance, you could take like Advil or ibuprofen for the swelling, which I
Mhm.
did,
Mhm.
instead of something so strong and addictive, such as a narcotic.
And that's fine. And
Here,
that's your choice, and you stand by that. You've always stood by that, and I've always disagreed with you about it. I'll tell you the miracle drug out there is that damn prednisone, man. That shit works great for me.
Darren,
It works awesome for me. I mean, I have these. Well, anyway, I don't want to get into sharing our ailments, but
he's a man. There's the ailment right there.
yeah, one strike against me.
He's a lawyer. Straight two.
Well, yeah, that just alienates half the people in the room. So, yeah, I just to summarize, I guess here, I'd love for somebody to tell me why I have to fill out the same goddamn information every time. I'd love for somebody to tell me why when I go to the doctor, they ask even if I just filled out the information that filled out a week before, the doctor, the nurse, or whomever walks into the room and asks me the same damn questions that I just filled out. For instance, getting back to the what meds are you on thing, right? I told the receptionist at the desk what meds I was no longer on. Here's a sheet back. They gave me the form to fill out. It had the questions in there about what meds I was on. This particular time, I refused to answer that particular question. I get into the room and the nurse comes in and she's sitting there at the computer asking me the same questions like, okay, what meds are you on? And I was like, I just had this conversation. So what I would love is for somebody out there who's not completely cynical and pissed off about it and aggravated about it to tell us why. Why do we have to do this all the time? Because it's not good trauma informed care. It's not good it's just not good care. It
Like,
doesn't
why do
make
a
you see that.
timeout if you're going to give everything you're allergic to?
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second, just before we go here, because I do understand
You're
when they
not done with this yet. You're only halfway through this. I don't know
oh,
what you're
I'm
talking about.
oh,
Wrong.
okay. I do understand when they walk into the room though, and they ask you to, what's your name, what's your date of birth,
Sure.
name, rank, and serial number, right? I do understand that, just to make sure they're operating on the right person.
Not that I don't have a medical ID from the hospital on my band on my arm, but
Well,
yeah.
that's the thing. They want to make sure that you know who you are and they know who you are, and you got the right one on. I
But
mean,
they
you
can't
get
ask me that if I'm under the influence.
agreed, but we're talking about these timeouts right now.
Okay, because go
My
ahead.
God, you go phew, off. Oh,
I'm a
gee.
redhead. What do you want? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're a redhead. Okay. Yeah, I'm a redhead too.
You are. You get very red. You get mad. You get red, like Mr. Clean.
Yeah. Oh God. Look, look, there's Elvis, and you're a redhead.
There's Michael Jackson.
I identify as skinny. But now you made me lose my train of thought.
There you go.
Yeah.
Why you do a timeout? See, this is why you have me. It's because I remember all the.
No, no, I know why we do the timeouts, but they're asking the same questions, and I understand. I mean, when I had my shoulders operated on, they were saying, okay, which shoulder are we doing? Take a marker and
Right.
write an X or a circle on the shoulder that we're operating on. Because you hear these horror stories about lawsuits where they do a surgery on the wrong arm,
They amputate
they
the wrong
remove
body
the
part.
wrong, they remove somebody's, whatever, I don't know, what can you remove? Kidney when they weren't supposed to remove the kidney. They removed your left arm instead of your right arm, that kind
Right.
of thing. So I do understand them asking that, but yeah, asking the same questions that are already in the chart that you just filled out. It's just and there's got to be. I guess it's just a cover your ass. We live in such a cover your ass world that these poor doctors get their asses sued constantly. So they are just over compensating. And you know what? I'll bet you it's the insurance companies that are making these things a requirement.
Okay, like I've given them my living will directive so many times. Then they're like, "Do you have a living will?" Yes, I do. Well, we don't have it on file. I gave it to you in my last surgery like a few months ago. Well, we don't have it. Can you give it to us again? I've given it to them like 9 times. They have no
Mhm.
record of my living will. It's just like that. I think that's why they make you do the paperwork over and over again because they lose it. They don't have any idea where it is. How do you lose somebody's living will?
Yeah. And then, you have the living will on file or you don't have the living will on file. And the practical aspect of that versus the technical aspect of that is they're going to go to your husband, even no matter what you have down on that stupid piece of paper.
Right,
I mean, there's the legal side of it that says they shouldn't, but the practical side of it is that the doctor wants to talk to next of kin.
right.
They don't, if you have your sister as your agent, your healthcare agent, they're not going to be trying to reach your sister, if your husband's sitting there in the waiting room. That's the reality of that one.
Right. But what
Um,
happens in scenarios where you're a woman and you're in a hospital because of abuse? And like when I had my best friend as my medical power of attorney, and they would go to him and ask what they wanted him to do, even though I made it very clear he wasn't supposed to.
It's a violation of HIPAA. It's a violation of
Exactly.
privacy laws. It's a violation of confidentiality laws.
That's how I got
They
this phone
completely
number.
violate everything. And
Right.
and all of those things are supposed to be protected,
Well, they're not.
and they're not. But
Right.
again, that's operational day to day within the breakneck speed of being in the hospital, I suppose, or what they have to do. And I know you have a lot of thoughts about the way the care is delivered to people in the hospitals and things along that. I mean, and there's something we probably differ on because I want to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I think that for the most part I've gotten good care other than the second emergency room visit that I went to last week where the doctor basically just wanted me to go to hell home. I'm never going to an emergency room again, by the way. Did I tell you?
Yes, you told me.
Do you believe me?
No,
Why not?
because I don't. I absolutely don't believe you. And here I am. an award-winning advocate. I'll toot my horn for that one, just for this message. I message him and I'm like, look, if they're not doing what you need, say XYZ. Let me do what I do best, and that's advocate for people in medical situations. Let me help you. And I say this to him. And does he do what I say? Of course not, because he's a man. He doesn't do it. He's like, oh, I'm going to do it myself. I got it. They didn't do what I needed. I feel like shit. Like, this is what he does. I said to him, you can ask for your ER doctor to give you a preliminary reading on your scans, or you can tell him you want another evaluation, or you can tell him this and this and this. And he doesn't listen to me. He doesn't listen to me. And I'm like, let me help you advocate for your own medical needs.
Well,
That's
and we come from the same, we're cut from the same cloth in that regard because I help folks advocate for themselves with regard to the treatment of their loved one with mental illness and
right.
prolonged illnesses and things like that. And it drives me crazy when they don't listen to me too. And I don't, yeah, I don't really have an excuse. I didn't listen to you. What I should have done, other than
Listen
what
to me.
I was on a lot of drugs that night, boy. What I should have done was Rick had said, you guys need to talk to my advocate and give him your number and pass it along to you. But they were so nice. And they were doing what they were really nice in the hospital. I
That's why
wasn't
you feel so much better when you left.
Oh no, I was not in rock the boat mode then. I was just in I'm in a lot of pain and I just want to have some relief. But yeah, I mean, back to the ER, what I've learned twice in 2 weeks or 10, whatever it was, that the ER is not a place to get fixed.
Mm-mm.
And it makes sense. I mean, you go in there with an acute issue, they're gonna, the ER is going to button you up, fix you up, do the band-aid as you say, and ship
Not
you off.
always, like your guy with the arm issue.
Well, yeah, that's a different I mean, that's a different story altogether, which also pisses you. But no, what I'm trying to say in their defense is they're not there to do, major examination and figure out what's wrong and set a course of action for my my boo-boo. Right. They
True.
just want to get me to a point of comfort, make sure I'm not dying and send me home.
Okay, but then let's look at this hypothetically. You have somebody who comes in and they have an authentic issue, say with their back. And they say, okay, we're going to send you for a CAT scan. Okay, great. Well, the CAT scan's not showing any abnormalities. So, okay, I want to go for an MRI. You have the right to request an MRI. God knows if you leave there and you call, it's going to be 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks before they can get you into one. But you can get one in the emergency room if you're genuinely hurting. And an MRI shows completely different than a CAT scan does. And what if you have something that is pressing that can be a major issue? Like you can't see a blood clot on a CAT scan. You can't see, you need a Doppler study for that. There are things that need to be done emergently to help with the overall picture, to help bridge you over to get you to be okay until you can get into a specialist, to get you into the care that's necessary. And sometimes these tests are needed to be done in order to get that answer.
I agree 1,000%. And like you said,
Wow.
I mean, if it was something that could have come back and said, "Oh, geez, if we don't do something about this, you're going to be a quadriplegic," like you just described,
Right?
uh, then that's and you're absolutely right in that regard. But let me just
Take it different.
caveat all of this discussion by saying I was in a tiny community hospital and they didn't have the MRI. They had the MRI, but they didn't have anybody. It wasn't like one of these
Have
24 seven.
on-call people. That's what they get paid for.
I guess.
All right,
I,
I have a totally different question, totally off of medical that I want your thought on. And I talked about this on my podcast, and I want to see what you have to say. Beautiful, beautiful, because you have a kid this age. Beautiful girl, 13 years old, had everything going for her. Stunning, sweet girl. She gets bullied by four other girls online, social online from school. And it's all done online. So the beautiful girl, and I'm going to be very careful not saying her name, commits suicide. She killed herself, took her life because of these four girls. The mom decides, okay, I am going to go online and try to prevent this happening to other girls. I want to try to help any way I can. So she's on there and she literally is just taking the posts that were put out there about her daughter and reposting them saying, How is this okay? How are we not catching our kids talk this way to other children? This cost me my child. I mean, you basically put the gun in my daughter's hand. And in return, the father of the one of the main four girls sued the mother. And the courts made her take down all of the posts because it was defamation of character to the kid that was bullying the girl that committed suicide.
Hmm.
Why can't these girls be convicted of a crime?
I don't know why they can't be.
And why is it that, like, they go to court? This woman goes to court and says, I lost my kid. I lost my child. My daughter committed suicide based on this profound, disgusting thread from these four girls. And because I put it back up, which the girls put out originally all over social media,
Yeah,
and
it's
all
in
she did
public, it's
was
in the
hit
public
share.
domain. Once it's up on social media, it's part of the public domain. So I don't
Right.
understand. I
The,
think that's
the
wrong.
judge made the mom take it all down and sided with the bully's dad.
I have no idea what you have to figure, tell me what the logic was, but and can it be appealed? I don't know. That's a crazy one because and how did we get from me being mad at the medical
Because I'm
oh,
mad at the judicial system and
w-
we're agreeing too much. That's just awkward.
n- no, I agree with you on that point too, but I don't understand how the hell you got to that point from talking about me being mad about medical records. And by the way, I told you I had to fill another one out last night. This is another thing that pisses me off about medical records. I I filled the freaking medic. They send you a thing a couple of days before you go. You
Did they
sit
send you a
down in front of
survey?
your no, not a survey. You sit down in front of your computer and you fill out the form. It
Well,
says,
that's challenging. You're
tell me
not
about
computer
you.
literate.
Tell me about your history. Tell me what medications you're on. Tell me this. Tell me all this stuff. You fill it all out. You go to the doctor's office thinking, okay, as soon as I get there, I'm not going to have to fill any of this crap out. And they still hand you the 12-page document, literally 12 freaking pages.
Right.
And I just spent an hour doing this on my computer at home. What the hell was the point of that? So this has to be a right hand doesn't know what the left hand's doing
Really.
thing. Back to your scenario for talk about falling topics with this poor little girl that committed suicide. I liken it to these families who are being prosecuted when their kid has access to a gun and kills somebody. Uh,
Doesn't it fall back on the parents? I mean, she's 13. Aren't the kids
That's what I'm
being
saying.
monitored by the family?
Parents are being prosecuted for having these guns in the house and having the kid have access to it. So why in the world would we not say, okay, just to draw the analogy out further, and we are really all over the place here this morning, but isn't the social media platform in this case the proverbial gun
Hmm.
and the kid had it. I,
Right.
I don't, and I mean, I don't necessarily know that you could sue the parents for that, but here we go again, round
Yeah,
and
but
round. I don't know the
you know what?
answer.
That's why people are all about being a character, right?
Mm, look at
Like,
this.
yeah,
Is that a shameless plug of my book?
yeah, I take it in the toilet when I'm constipated. But like you take this,
That'll work.
I actually like this book, but it's seriously like people put this perception on about, who they are in the social media world. You care more about the people you'll never meet on social media than you do about your own family. Like you're sitting there at dinner and you're at a restaurant, you look around, everybody's on the phone, even people on dates, they're on phones in front of each other and they're just
Yeah,
typing away. And you're sitting there and you're like, are you kidding me? And back in the day, my grandfather would have said, if I wanted that person at my table, I would have invited them to dinner, hang the phone up. And that's the one that was attached to the wall, right?
right, right.
I just, people care more about the perception
Perception.
of
Yeah.
who they are in their other people's eyes than they do about the people that they live a life with.
Well, and the reason Victoria is saying this now, the reason she's gone down this rabbit hole, everybody, is because the name of my book is Character.
Well, whose
Become
stuff?
the tagline is become the person your social media friends already think you are.
It is actually a really good read. Kudos to
No,
your
it's not even a
ghostwriter.
read. It's more of a, I don't know, anecdotal little vignettes, little funny little sayings and things that I thought of. But anyway, that's why she's going down the rabbit hole of something about social media now that I don't know where she's just sometimes you just it's like what we used to call this Nantucket sleigh ride. You know, you attach to the whale takes you for a ride, and you just go along and say, "Oh boy, let's hope we get through this one okay."
And I'm a whale.
You've heard of a Nantucket sleigh ride, right?
What?
Nantucket sleigh ride. Back
No,
in the whaling days out here in the Northeast, when they would harpoon a whale, they'd be in their little boat, little skiff, and the whale would take off and take them for a ride, and they called it a Nantucket sleigh ride. Isn't that interesting?
no,
Yes, it is too.
it is not. Were you on one of your boats for this?
What? I'm not that old. Is that
Yeah,
an old joke?
yeah. No,
Okay,
you
Tim.
are old. You're old.
Yeah, I'm
Old
ancient. I
enough to be
know.
my dad.
I know. I'm freaking old enough that when I cut a bagel with a plastic knife, I hurt my
Wait,
back.
wait. It was a plastic knife.
Plastic knife. Yeah.
I have to know how you hurt yourself with cardboard because this is just kind of fun. I mean,
I,
how
I had the cardboard there and I had a knife, a real knife, and I was just cutting the lengthwise and I just twisted funny. And then I'm imitating the motion right now. And as I do that, I could feel exactly where the
are you
pain.
on AARP?
Yeah.
Are you really?
Am I on AARP? Am I a AARP member? Of course.
Yeah. Do you draw
Yeah.
Social Security yet?
No.
Can't think about it.
All right, we're wrapping this up. It's been long enough. We've been boring people to death long enough
No,
now.
people want to see us fight and banter, and he hasn't brought anything up yet, which he's not ready to take this on yet. He always says he can take me. He's the, law lawyer you. And,
I've never in my
in the
life
very
said
beginning
those.
when we first, you're like, oh, we could debate. I'm like, bring it. Bring it.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't mind debating, but I never
I'll
said
debate
I'll
you all day long.
lawyer you.
Yeah. And I was like, go ahead, bring it.
You say that. I don't say. Anyway. All right, everybody.
So he's
Somebody
actually
else.
made a running list of things that piss him off, like certain sayings that piss him off.
Yeah.
And if you guys, want to listen and send us things that piss you off and you want us to give you our 2 cents about it, then you can reach out to us and tell us. Also, not that he's mentioned it because he hasn't. I'm going to drop this today because today, oh my God, I got 3 hours with his mug today. Now I might take my very first pain med. So I we are doing a live at 5:30 Eastern time today, and it's huge. It's a great, big, huge announcement. I'm excited about it. And he's actually being nice. Like, write it down, like screenshot it, because he's making it, we're making a huge announcement and it's out of the kindness of his heart. And so, I mean, it's a little wonky, but same thing. He actually is a nice guy. He really is. I won't ever say that again. So, but I
Hmm.
mean, he is, and I tell him all the time I value him as a friend. And getting a compliment out of him or getting him to like smile is like next to impossible. It just can't be done. It's just
It's
not.
exhausting. It's
Tell me about
exhausting.
it.
I'm exhausted right now just listening to you.
That's so sweet.
Exactly.
So
All
sweet.
right. So yeah, I think that's a great idea for you people that are out there that get pissed off about things in the world that drive you crazy. Send it to us, and I'm sure I will agree with you on most of them
Me?
because I know with people that are sending stuff to us that tell us what drives them crazy, and then we'll read it and we'll talk about it, and maybe we'll even have people come on and talk about the things that piss them off.
That would be great.
That
Yeah.
would be
Why
great.
everything that starts with that bothers women start with men?
I
Menstrual
will leave it.
institution, menstrual cramps.
Yeah, we'll leave it there. All right. So somebody had to say it. So we just said it. So I'm Michael Mackniak. I'm going to hit the end button or the
You
leave.
can't. It's on my platform.
I'm going to
See?
hit the leave this meeting button now. And hopefully you guys have made it through this agony.
And
Victoria, I'll talk to you in another few hours, right?
thanks for the warning.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.